Hi, I'm Danny. What is it? Hi, Nikki.
Hi, I'm Ramona.
Hi, Ramona. Hi,
This
Danny.
is my sister, Joanne.
Hi, Jordan. Nice
My
to meet you.
husband Gilbert.
Hi, Gilbert. Ah, you have one of those Purple Hearts too, sir.
Yeah.
Also Vietnam?
No, I'm Korea.
Korea. Wow. You're doing well.
I'm Frank.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Go ahead and
Right out. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
He is
Even
good.
the tribal council showed up, 2 members.
Wow.
And the former tribal members, councilmen, people were here. And then I guess some drum people came too.
Yeah.
They want to sing a song or something.
Oh,
If you got time.
I think we do.
Oh, good.
We're good,
Who's back here? Vice Chair. Don't try.
He's vice chairman now? Showing up, huh?
Who's vice chair?
You?
Vice chair?
Oh, he's way back. Okay, go back.
Larry, why so reclusive?
He didn't get his for bar, that's why.
You didn't survive this long not having a quick getaway plan.
Well, I'm sure Rebecca told you what the skinny was, right? Why we applied for the medals. Did she tell you?
She did, sir.
Okay.
I tell you, if you'd asked me ahead of time back then, I would have said, never get your photograph taken with Vice President Humphrey unless you get it signed on the dotted line that it was representing the full meal deal.
Oh, yeah.
As the photo.
Well, problem was I was out of it. They had me on morphine and I was wounded. And I barely remember the whole situation. Just they came in and said, the Vice President's going to award you a Purple Heart. I'm there like I give a shit, you know.
Yeah.
I was hurting bad stuff. They
So
did
what year were you over there?
67.
Where?
Where was I?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good question. Remember, you called me private?
Yes.
I was pointing in the right direction and the helicopter was going.
Ah,
So where I got wounded, I didn't know how the middle comes up.
yeah.
And
What were you, up toward the DMZ or down toward south or?
I think we were a little bit north. We were out of Chulai, where the last town I remember being in.
Okay.
And from there we got helicopters and flew out to wherever.
How many years were you in country before you were wounded?
Only 5 months.
Oh.
I spent 1 more month in the hospital. So that's only just 6 months.
And at the end of that month, did you come home?
Took me a couple more months to come home. It took me to the Philippines, Japan,
Yeah.
and then Madigan.
But when you were shot, that was the end of your active duty in country.
Correct.
So that's it.
Yes.
Thanks for your service.
Okay.
Good time.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's what happened with the president, vice president.
You know what they say about Vice President Humphrey?
No, they don't. I don't.
They say he talked 60 miles an hour with a gust up to 90.
That's why they big that big dome over there, huh? Humphrey Dome.
Remember what his nickname was?
No.
Anybody remember what Vice President Humphrey's nickname was? No, he was called the Happy Warrior
Oh,
because he had such a passion for his work in public service and politics. You will recall that Vice President Humphrey, I believe it was in the 1948 Democratic National Convention, was the one who drove a stake in the ground over the issue of civil rights.
Oh, yeah.
When the rest of the National Democratic Party wasn't yet ready to do it, Vice President Humphrey was their conscience and said, we are too ready to do this.
Oh, we can.
He was a good man, but he talked fast. So what did you do after you got out?
Well, it took me 7 months.
Fish. You were
Huh?
a fisherman, weren't you?
I went fishing, exactly.
Is Billy your uncle? Now tell me
Yeah.
how that works. Are you McLeod?
No, I'm a Mills.
Okay,
She's her blood uncle, my wife.
okay.
But he was my uncle for 50 years or however.
Suzette, are you McLeod?
No,
Bridges.
Are you Frank?
no, I'm not.
So tell me how Billy was your uncle?
My mother was
Your mother was a McLeod, so you're a McLeod.
No, Bridges,
Well, sort of.
Her dad was a Bridges.
L. Bridges.
Yeah, but her mother was a McLeod.
Right.
Yeah.
So my mother's maiden name is Roper, I'm a Roper, it's not my last name, but
Yeah.
that's how you were related to Billy, is on the McLeod side. Yeah,
Well, Billy was her mom's brother. So
Right.
that was her uncle.
But
Right.
they were,
And everybody called him uncle. He was my uncle too.
yeah,
they were friends.
yeah, I called him uncle.
Yeah,
Billy was my friend for 40 years.
Yeah. And
So Suzette, what was your mother's name?
Oh, Teresa.
Teresa.
Maisel Bridges.
Oh,
She's still alive.
yeah,
Maisel,
she's like 95, 96 now.
Billy's sister.
Yeah, 95 years young.
Yep.
So Billy's been gone now, what, 4 years or 5 years or June, May? 4 years.
I have no idea. Been a
And
while.
he was, what was Billy when he passed? 80,
83.
83?
Yeah, he just had 80, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was about to say 83. Yeah. I still miss him.
Yeah.
All of us, actually. Are you recording this?
I
You know
am.
it's a violation of federal law to record this without seeking my permission in advance?
I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
I almost fell for it.
He's with the Puyallup Tribal News.
Yeah.
Notice he didn't stop.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I got it on camera.
So he's obviously.
Bothered him a lot. Not enough to hit the off button, but it bothered him a lot.
Keep talking.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, Denny, after Sid came back, at Fort Lewis, they were, making targets.
Making what?
Targets. And they had, my name on a target, Maisel's name, Al's name, Billy's name, and they were shooting targets.
That had your
And so-
names on the targets?
Yeah, and
I've not
so,
heard that story.
and so Sid came across the river to the Indians, and he was our general, when we kicked the state out of the hospital, and when we set up our fishing camp that resulted in the boat decision.
Ah,
This was General Mills.
so Sid, I have the incredible honor to serve in the United States House of Representatives with somebody who's a good friend and an inspiration to me every single day. His name is John Lewis. And John says, and John walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, got his head bashed in, didn't know if he would live in Selma. And so he's been at this work for a long time.
Yeah.
And John's line is, it's really important that you get into some good trouble. Get into good trouble. You guys were making some good trouble.
Yeah.
Well, these guys did the Poor People's Campaign,
Yeah.
all of that.
So to General Mills, I called you private, I apologize.
Well, yeah. In the white man's army, I was private.
Yeah.
Well, I went to the Indian army, I was doing general.
Yeah. So this was because of, why were they putting the names on the targets?
Because that was the whole fishing rights struggle. The
Yeah.
Indians were staying on the river.
And why did the base care?
The game
They were
department.
They already stole your land back in
They were trained to kill dirty, slanty-eyed gooks, and we were the closest thing they had to
Yeah, I'm not even
use for
comfortable hearing
target
that.
practice.
Fisheries and game department at the time
That's a direct
used
quote
the
from
military
my-
as backup, you know, and, especially when they were looking for me, because they claimed I was a deserter. I did 6 months at the stockade out here also,
Did you?
after I got back from Vietnam.
Yeah.
Because I told them I quit the army, I'm never working for you guys again, because of the treatment of my people.
Yeah.
So they threw me in a stockade. Finally, I got Nixon, who was friend at that time, to say some words about letting him go. And so they let me go.
Yeah. They were gonna keep you forever?
Well, they were charged me with desertion.
Yeah.
And, you know, the sergeant that was in the stockade, he became my friend. And he said, I don't know why you're even here. He should have let you go. So he was on my side too. But they were trying to give me 5 years for desertion. But I ended up doing 6 months there and they released me.
So Sid, do you talk about the day you were wounded?
Sometimes.
Are you willing to share a little bit about that with me today?
I could. Well, let's see. I was in the 101st Airborne 8 Company. I was in the 4th squad of the 4th platoon, and we'd been under fire for a long time, about a week or so. And then finally they sent us out into the jungle, our squad. And we were what they called, it was like recon, but they had another name for it. Tiger Force. That's what they called us, Tiger Force. And they sent us out in the jungle to find out what's out there because we've been in a lot of trouble. There was kind of mountains in the background, I remember that. And we went out there and I was kind of on point, I think. We snuck up on probably, they say there was 2 to 4 NVA divisions. But we snuck up on them and everybody there was in uniform. We hardly ever seen them in uniform. Usually they were in black pajamas. But, you know, being a dumb Indian that I am, I thought they were playing cards. I snuck up and I looked over the embankment. And I told the squad leader, I said, look at them, they're playing cards over there. And he looked over and he goes, you stupid, he said, they're looking at maps. Oh, I said, yeah, I guess they are. I said, well, should we get them or what? And he said, yeah. Because we were under the impression that we had all the backup that we needed, artillery, helicopters, you name it, we had it. And there was only, on this time, they had a dog handler with us because we were out reconning. And even the platoon sergeant came out with us. Usually there was only 5 of us. And so I opened up on them. I had a grenade launcher. So I put a grenade launcher right in the middle of their table, their map table. They didn't know what hit them. And then all of us opened up on them and started dropping them like flies. And then they retaliated, and that embankment that I was behind, it was probably always thick as me to him. And that bullet started coming through. They ate it away with their bullets. There was that many people shooting at us. So I noticed that a couple went by me. I go, let's get out of here. And I rolled over, tried to get out of there, out of that fire was hitting that embankment. And that's when a mortar or something hit me, rocket.
Oh, it was a mortar.
Something that landed right next to my face. You know, I was reaching for ammo, like you fire my grenade launcher, and I was reaching down, and I felt it was kind of funny. So I looked up like that, and it was right here. I turned my head real fast, and I ended up about 30 feet that way. And then another one went off not too far away either, rolled me over. And then, you know, bullets were flying everywhere too.
Were you unconscious at that point?
I think the only time I really went unconscious was flying through the air. I think when that first rocket or mortar went up on my head, that probably knocked me out. It blew out my eardrums and everything.
Yeah.
And when I hit the ground, that's what woke me up probably, because I don't remember flying through the air. But I didn't have a weapon no more. My weapon, I seen it was about 30 feet away. And I was bleeding, you know, and then another one went off here and rolled me over, and it was bullets. Got hit by a couple bullets. But everybody there died except for myself.
You were the only one that survived?
Yeah, all the other people, yeah. And I think that guy that helped me out, we called him Pops, because he was the oldest guy in the whole company. He was 30 years old. And he got killed the next day. The whole company got wiped out. I woke up in the hospital, and they were bringing just the captain and a couple other people in. And they said, your company got wiped out yesterday. And, so that was 228 or something like that, a company.
Do you have any sense of how long it was from the time that you initially got hit by the mortar until the helicopter picked you up?
I never got out of there. It was just before dark. And we were pinned down, we couldn't move.
So when did they come get you?
Well, I don't know. Pops was trying to bandage me up so I didn't bleed to death. I lost 4 units of blood. He only got 6. So I almost bled to death. But that guy, he must have stopped the bleeding enough so I survived. I don't know, probably hours, because some guy was crawling through the bushes, and he reached over and he grabbed me by my arm and pulled me up and drugged me that way. And I don't know how far we went, and then the captain, everybody was there. And then I had to get up and walk from there. I forget how many clicks they called them, because they couldn't get a helicopter close enough. They were shooting them down.
Yeah.
It was quite a deal.
So then they medevaced you to where?
I think I ended up in July again,
Okay.
and then that's when the vice president showed up.
It was at Chulai, you're still all doped up and,
Yeah, I was out of it for 7 months. Probably, when I got back to Madigan, which was probably at least 3 months after getting hit, I spent another 3 months or 4 months at Madigan. I was on morphine, you know, to ease the pain, because I'm still in pain, you know, every day. They asked me, how much pain are you in between 1 and 10?
yeah.
I said, well, how do I know? It's always pain, you know, from being initially wounded like that, you don't get over it. Because it hit me in all my left side, my lungs and shoulder and knees and head and everything, blew the eardrum out. Yeah, you don't get over that, you know, that pain is always there. And the ringing in my ears is still there. Them things you never get rid of, you never forget the incident itself. When speaking about it right now, it's visualized in my head like as if that happened last week.
Yeah.
That's that traumatic, you know. And other things that I did while I was over there. If I think about them, I feel like they happened last week. Even though it's been 50 years, over 50 years.
Yeah, 51?
Yeah, it'll be 51 years in October.
Yeah.
Well, I think I was in Vietnam and country right now, 50 years ago, so 51 years ago when all this shit happened, so. That's the way it is. I mean, I could tell you more stories, but that's probably enough for you. I don't want to overwhelm you. You'll be crying next.
Well, Sid, I lost my brother to that war.
Oh, did you?
So you don't have to talk very long.
Yeah.
I can work up some real brief.
Yeah, it was
But
a
it's
real
all
bad
the
thing.
more reason why I'm so honored to.
Yeah. It was bad news out there. So I tell people, if you can survive the jungles of Southeast Asia, the rest of your life's all great, you know, every day great. That's the way I feel about it. That was pure hell. You talk about war is hell, it was. I even put my arm up to get shot once I went out, it was so bad. And I realized I'll tear my whole arm off, so I sit back down.
Good decision on your.
Yeah,
All right, let's get to that one.
Dan, the other thing I'd like you to know is that, although his body still has a lot of shrapnel, he sits up and runs our Native American church meetings,
Oh,
and he's my spiritual leader, and a lot of other people, a lot of other Indian people.
well, Sid, why don't you stand up here if you can? Sure.
Yeah, just jump up and just sit.
Looking good.
thank you.
So, we have a couple of things that are really, really long overdue here, as you well know.
Yeah.
The first of which is the Vietnam Service Medal. This is the one that is given to anybody that was boots on the ground. So if you were in a Coast Guard cutter off Cameron Bay, you wouldn't have gotten this. But for those who were actually there on the ground and exposed to combatant duty, this just says you were there.
Nice.
And now, let's just do this one. And then this one. And there aren't a lot of these given, and to whom they are given, much has been received. I cannot exaggerate to you the honor to be able to finally present you with that, which you earned 5 decades ago plus 1 year. This is the Purple Heart. And I want to show it to everybody here. The fact that it took 51 years doesn't in any way, one iota, diminish our gratitude for the sacrifice you made. Gentlemen.
So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we have some, what we call providence. This is the certificate that indicates
Okay.
and our own.
All right. Thank you again.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Hey.
You still taping?
Yeah, we're not done.
Sid and I want royalties.
Yeah.
We want 10%.
If I'd be in the paper, that's about it. Oh, they got something else there.
He's gonna sing a Cheyenne song.
Oh,
warrior
very
song,
good.
A warrior song, as he received.
Thank you.
Honorary blanket from the Puyallup tribe. His fellow.
Got it? Yeah, really. Time I sit down. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Gil. Glad to be here. Oh. Yeah. I know, Jesse. Stuck up.